Hey, this is Sutani, signing in. I'm here to showcase the Strand build I've put together using Mothkeeper's wraps. When I make my builds, I like to rank them into three main factors: boss damage, survivability, and ad control. In other words, the ability to quickly clear out enemies. I believe it shines best in ad control and survivability by optimizing its use of the amount of grenades one can spam. Let's get right into it. Mothkeeper's wraps exotic perk states, your grenade becomes a cage of loyal moths that release on impact and fly toward the nearest target or ally. If they reach a target, they detonate in a blinding explosion. If they reach an ally, the moths grant your ally, or yourself, a void overshield. But I'll get into more depth of how that looks. Moving on to Strand itself, the aspects you'll need are Widow Silk and Threaded Spectre. When using the exotic arms, it allows for 2 grenade charges when you have it equipped. The benefit of Widow Silk gives you a 3rd charge to really blind the fighting arena. Equipping your grapple grenade is what gives you that 3rd charge. Next, I went with Threaded Spectre to add on to my survivability. Every time I dodge, leaves behind a decoy of myself, which forces the adds or enemies around me to shoot at it instead of me, giving me an opportunity to get away if need be. Which leads us to our Fragments. Remember, this build focuses around our exotic, which is why the first choice is easiest: Threat of Generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. Key phrase being dealing damage, weapons, abilities, etc. Though it do be a small amount. Another pick is Threat of Warding. Picking up an orb of power grants Woven Mail, which reduces incoming non-precision damage by 60% for 10 seconds. As they're trying to shoot at your hitbox, not at your head every time. Moving on, I have Thread of Finality. Finish your final blows, create thread links. And this last one is more up to how you choose to play. I went with Thread of Binding. Super final blows emit a suspending burst from the target, which benefits more into ad control, especially when I want to make quick work to clear the room. Let's move on to another important factor to this build, regarding armor mods. Keep in mind, most of these mods are personal preference. Feel free to mix and match them to your liking. Now then, starting with the helmets, I'm running Special Ammo Finder and Ammo Scout to help get more ammo for my forbearance to maximize the use of Soul Drinker. On the exotic itself are mods I recommend to further increase your grenade energy gained, which are Impact Induction, one of my favorites. This combo works really well with how the melee ability works. If you get a long hit combo with your melee ability and catch it on its way back, not only do you get lots of melee energy back, but you also get a decent sum of grenade energy as well. And this is a grenade build, so you're gonna want firepower. As far as the mods on my chest piece go, it's a preference. The mods on my legs I'd recommend: Recuperation and Better Already. Spiral down a common situation with me. You're killing ads, making orbs you haven't picked up yet, and your health gets a little too low. You decide to dodge, and in that very moment, an orb is in range that you auto pick up because of the mod Powerful Attraction on your clash gear. Not only will you get some health, but you also quickly start regenerating it. Combo that with your decoy you just made, and you can regenerate all your health without being shot at, allowing yourself a quick, safe getaway to get right back into the action. Stacks on Stacks just allows me to get armor charges faster, so I can combo it with Restorative Finisher. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Which leads us to the final piece, my cloak. When you use a finisher, you gain a portion of energy for your least recharged ability. The ability gained is about 50%. Its main focus is put into melee and dodge energy. That's because I'm gaining grenade energy from lots of different sources. It doesn't really apply to my grenade unless I have no energy in it at all. It does help exponentially with getting my melee or dodge back, which is practically one and the same since I run Gambler's Dodge. As far as my weapon choice goes, do whatever fits your playstyle and try synergizing with the build. Personally, Rufus's Fury is my go, with Reconstruction and Paracausal Affinity, a hidden gem I discovered, by the way. If you aren't familiar with it already, Paracausal, let me break it down for you. It's a damage buff that gives 20% increase once the conditions are met. These conditions are grouped as light or dark final blows. Light kills are any damage from arc, solar, or void sources. Dark kills are any damage from stasis or strand sources. Because the perk is on a strand weapon, to get that damage buff, I need stasis or strand kills, coming from the weapon itself or an ability. Heck, even a finisher works because I have the strand subclass on. Make sure it's a neutral colored finisher, so it turns green. Trust. My special is Forbearance, just to further help me with act control and survivability. My heavy, on the other hand, yeah, I have no go-to, but Parasite's fun. Now that you know all the synergy that's being applied, I'll show you some tips to Mothkeeper's wraps. The Moth has a long activation to its tracking and where it tracks to, which depends on how close the target is. So if you happen to throw a grenade at an enemy when you yourself are nearby, one moth will go to them and the other to you, giving you an overshield, which looks to fill 50% of your health. The trick is to throw your moth a distance away from yourself to maximize its damage, or throw it at your feet and wait for that overshield to appear, which will allow you to regenerate health even if you get shot. As long as you have that overshield, it'll work. All in all, I could say this build holds its own in high-end activities. You'll have to mess around with it in Grandmasters though. Never done one. Anyway, that covers it, Chief. The grind is real, and I wish you the best of luck out there. This is Sutani, over and out.